not really get it out.
Cesarean section, when you do the fetal monitoring.
I'm sorry?
When fetal monitoring is done,
Yeah.
cesarean goes up. So in your cases,
Yeah.
was it an outcome of fetal monitoring?
No, we haven't studied that. For the simple reason that when fetal monitoring is done, the clinicians are not recording it. Let's say they record in 25% of cases or even 60% of cases. If you want to analyze 60%, maybe they've only recorded it in certain cases where they've had more time and you've got a skewed data. So that data analysis is not correct. Ultimately, it boils down to not, you can provide the tools, what like Sir said, you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. You can provide the tools to the clinicians. Some clinical departments record it very nicely, like we have Dr. Nandi, gastroenterology, he records 100%. Others don't record. They get very good clinical analysis. The other department doesn't get good clinical analysis. These are the tools. Provided you can get the data entered, you can. So data mining can only be as accurate as data that is captured in the HIS. But the important thing is to make sure your HIS is not something which is a Microsoft Word, glorified Microsoft Word and database. You type in everything. You cannot analyze free text. It has to be as granular as possible. You make it granular, doctors resist. So it's really a compromise. You have to make what you want to analyze granular, what you don't want to analyze, try to keep it as free text. So the important thing is, should all hospitals go in for BI tool? What gets measured gets managed. You want to manage something, first get your data correct. Historically, hospitals have been data rich, but information poor. And as long as HIS is there, you really do not get a return of investments. Return comes only once BI comes up. HIS is just milestone 1. You have to go to milestone 2, which is BI. So the next wave of IT investment will be in BI tool development, deployment. That is very important. And that is why I'm saying that now that we have got a few companies that are providing BI tools, hospitals should go in. And I think I would like to hear Dr. Nina Pahuja's experience with BI, because they have also done a lot of good work in that. Yeah, whenever you talk. So that's it, right? Thank you.
What is the cost of this Malaysian software?
We got it for 25 lakhs, but now it's about 50 to 70 lakhs.
In fact, stay there, Dr. Singh. That was in fact very interesting and something that's very dear to my heart, because I have been auditing surgical, or in fact aspects of surgery, for some time. In fact, I think as it's different in fact, to the theme of this presentation, if anybody wants to ask anything now, let me.
The product, where does it come from? Is it the SpeedMiner?
SpeedMiner. SpeedMiner is actually made by Malaysia,
Yeah.
but it is marketed in India. There is a company called MTech in Gurgaon. They market it, they implement it, they do everything for you.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, if you meet me later on, I can get you in touch with the company people.
Yeah, because this is something I'm developing in Holland for chronic care, and this is something all doctors run into. They need to report to the insurance company as fine-grained as this. So this is a very nice tool.
Yeah, we have automated reporting to insurance companies, to Government of India, through the ICD code tables and all that. It's automated. You just click a button once a month and the data is generated, you email it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
In fact, Dr. Singh, that second last slide you put up is probably the most important. Garbage in, garbage out.
That's right.
But how do you overcome the problem of not getting anything in, even if it is garbage? Because you need to find a way of actually getting the buy-in of all the staff that they enter the data, because otherwise you are only analyzing each individual. You aren't analyzing a
That's right.
department.
So difficulty, of course, is in implementing it. For that, one, of course, is to design your HIS correctly so that you have your data fields from scratch. You cannot change them once it starts. Second thing is that you have to make it as far as possible user-friendly. It is not easy. It's like a seesaw. One thing goes up, other thing goes down. And the third is get after the doctors, sit on their heads, and visit them daily, see what the problems are, solve them, and show them this carrot that, see, now 1 month you went out a data, here's your data analysis. I hold demonstration meetings of data analysis for different departments once a month by rotation, so that everyone then knows that, okay, my work is having some sort of rewards. So that's the thing. You have to get after the doctors. You can't just sit in an office and dictate from there. You have to be circulating in the wards all the time.
Okay, since we have a small gathering, I think we can make some comments. One information that I would like to share with you all, that with RTI Act coming into force, So more and more hospitals will need to index and catalog their information in proper fashion so that it can be retrieved as and when it is required. So that will give a boost to data warehousing, data mining, and then finally data analytics. Then there's been a book by Davenport on data analytics to run business solely, make intelligent decisions based on not on intuition or past experience, but to make decisions on basis of data that you have available, hard core decisions. So in that respect, hospitals will also get into this league where they will use data analytics increasingly to make more intelligent and informed decisions.
Actually, if I have time, I would just like to show a 1-minute video. This is a lot of things that I have not shown. This is how we are getting our own evidence-based medicine data. So I'm taking, again, diabetes, and I'm trying to now find diabetics who come to the hospital come with what additional complications. So if you know that this complication is very likely with diabetics, you're going to have a protocols to tackle that first. So again, I'm choosing, this is October 2010, diabetes. I hope it's the right video. I've got so many where I just, yeah. Sorry, this is the pattern of, yeah, this is right. So I'm going to now sort out, do an alphabet, a numeric sort, descending. So I know that most of them, of course, type 2 diabetes is the most common. Then I have essential primary hypertension. Then I have atherosclerotic heart disease. Then unspecified diabetes mellitus without complications, chronic renal failure, glomerular disorders and diabetes mellitus, descending order. So evidence-based medicine on the population covered by Sir Gangaram Hospital, not somewhere in UK or US or Netherlands. So that's how you can do clinical analysis. And here I can get my patient data out.